Liverpool's £150 million transfer target, Alexander Isak, refused to play for Newcastle in their Premier League season opener. The Geordie fans made their feelings well known at the final whistle. Let's have a look at this. Very quickly though, the goal is to have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Help me get there. Geordies can make a lot of noise. They certainly did at Villa Park following Newcastle United's goalless draw on the opening day. And without Alexander Isak, without Callum Wilson even to replace him, they did look a bit toothless in attack. They desperately need Alexander Isak back in the fold. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though, does it? Because Isak is refusing to play for them ever again. Unless you sell me, I'll rather rot on the bench, Alexander Isak is saying. Wow. And so as Eddie Howe and his players walked back to the tunnel, the away end turned their attention to a high-profile absentee. Did you hear the chant? Did you watch it? Effectively, the chant was, there's only one greedy B word. I'm not going to say it on YouTube in case there's any kids in the room while you're watching this video. That was a chant. Now, is it all Newcastle fans? No, because I made a couple of videos about how I thought Isak was treating Newcastle quite badly, and I wasn't sure whether we should bring a player like that to Liverpool. And I got a Newcastle fan insulting me, telling me he's been a great servant to their club, and they've got nothing against him. So if I'm getting insulted by Newcastle fans when I'm actually saying I don't think he's treating Newcastle well, I don't know how to deal with this world anymore. But there's a section of Newcastle fans that were showing their displeasure at Alexander Isak's behaviour. Now, it doesn't mean he hasn't scored an amazing number of goals for you, hasn't been integral to Newcastle in getting them into the Champions League and helping them win the Cup last season. There are clear reasons to be thankful to what Alexander Isak has contributed to Newcastle's last couple of seasons. It doesn't mean, though, that he also can't be criticised for being a greedy B-word, really. They also sang, we don't care about Isak, he don't care about me. The fans roared as they left the stadium, all we care about is NUFC. And Alan Shearer had his say on how this is all unfolding. He said, you've got a guy who's on 100,000 a week plus, not playing, and you've got the normal fan paying £60 to £70 for a ticket every week. Now remember, £60 to £70 to a normal fan, normal working class, some middle class fans that are buying these tickets is like several thousand to Alexander Isak. It's a big chunk of money to spend every week or every 2 weeks when you're playing the home games if you're not traveling to away games. And if you are traveling to away games, all the travel costs. It's a big contribution from a normal fan who's earning a normal living wage to support the club. And that money is going into Alexander Isak's paycheck, 100,000 a week. He's still getting paid 100,000 a week, probably, while he's refusing to play. I don't know if they're docking his pay somehow, but they haven't mentioned it in the news. Shearer says, there's no loyalty in football. Clubs look after themselves and players look after themselves. Fine, I have to accept that, even though I don't like to hear it. But there's a way of doing things, right? The way that Alex is doing this at the moment is not the right way. It's not the right way. When you have 3 years left on your contract and you're getting paid 100,000 a week, to refuse to play at all, unless Newcastle sell you so you can get what you're hoping is 200,000 a week at Liverpool, that's not the right way to behave. And what that makes me feel is, like I said in my video, should Liverpool swerve Isak, is if he's willing to do that to his current club because he wants to double his earnings, let's say after a year he helps us win the Premier League, maybe the Champions League, and Real Madrid start tapping him up and say, we'll pay you 300,000 a week. Is he going to refuse to play for us until we sell him to Real Madrid? Believe people when they show you who they are. He's shown us who he is. He is willing to down tools, completely not honour his current contract, refuse to play for the club, disrupt the whole team in order to force a move. He will do the same to Liverpool Football Club. If a team comes calling and says, we'll pay you more than what Liverpool are paying you currently, and Liverpool can't match it, he'll do the same. Liverpool have got into his agent, and to offer 110 million is rather belittling when you have midfielders going for 105. There may be a point here. We paid so much for Wirtz, unproven in the Prem, and Alexander Isak is a proven 20-plus goal a season striker. He should be more expensive than Wirtz, right? That's what you would think. This is an interesting line here. For context, Newcastle failed to score from open play or win any of the 4 top-flight fixtures that Isak missed last season. He was directly involved in more than 40% of Newcastle's league goals, scoring 33.8% of them. Clearly, Newcastle are a decent side, but also clearly their attack hinges so much on Alexander Isak that when he's not in the team, they're just not the same going forward. This is a big problem for them, especially with this transfer window, not being able to bring in other strikers. What does this mean for Liverpool? Let's bring us back round to Liverpool. So, would Isak strengthen us? Of course he would. Can we rely on Ekitike without him? Well, Ekitike looked super impressive in pre-season and in the opening game against Bournemouth. But what happens if he gets injured? What happens if he loses form? You know, you don't want to rely entirely on Ekitike when we have no one to replace him. Is Chiesa the replacement? Well, he definitely helped against Bournemouth, but we know Slot doesn't trust him fully for one reason or another. If you look at it purely from a personnel point of view in terms of skill, talent, and game impact, Isak would be a great buy and we should get him. It just leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, you know, the way he's treated Newcastle, knowing he could treat Liverpool just the same. And the problem Newcastle have is if they sell Isak to us, can they get in another striker? Time's running out. The market's expensive. They would have just got a big, huge amount of money. So every club will know they can raise the prices when dealing with Newcastle. It's not looking good for them. But I think with how damaged the relationship is now with the fans at Newcastle, it's a PR exercise to deal with this. I really don't know if you can reintegrate him. I know Eddie Howe has said, well, we can still reintegrate Isak into the team is as long as the behaviour improves and we stop having the standoff. Will the fans accept it? Do Newcastle want to try doing that and hope the fans will turn around again? We will find out. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, a comment, and remember, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you give me a little subscribe, that will really help me and I appreciate it. Cheers. Bye-bye.